hello, hello.
Hello, Jason. How are
How-
you?
I'm well, Sabrina. I'm well. And welcome back, everybody, to the 20-minute Event Prof Marketing Live. I am Jason Greenman from Okomo, and I'm here with my partner in social media crime, the one and only, the Sabrina Myers from Hot Hospitality Exchange. And now, in previous episodes, we've talked about the best social media platforms for event profs to be on. We've spoken about Clubhouse. We've talked about how to optimize your bio, the bio sections of your socials. And today it is all about the hashtags. So,
Hashtag.
hashtags,
That's how you do
hashtag.
hashtags, right? I think it's hashtags.
I think so.
Oh my God, I really hope I'm not doing some kind of like clan symbol or something. That would be awful. Let's keep the finger gestures off. Yeah. Okay.
That's right. So we've got Kiara here. Hello, Kiara. Thank you for joining. Let me throw up today's topic on the banner here so we can get started. Set the timer. And Sabrina, while I'm doing that, why don't you start out with just what is a hashtag? Let's explain that. Let's start from zero, and we'll build up from there. Dig it a bit deeper from there.
Absolutely. So for everyone that's watching, I think everyone knows what a hashtag is, but in the event that, you don't have an idea of what it is a symbol that looks like this, right?
Nice.
The social media person does have a mug with a hashtag on it.
Yes. Of course she does.
Because of course, that's essential for me.
Hashtag coffee.
Now, exactly. So a hashtag is basically a symbol that you put on top of a keyword or a trending word or a word that you would like to associate with your content is the easiest way to, I would say, describe what a hashtag is. So that is a hashtag, and every single post that you do on social media should have hashtags with it. And yeah, that's it's basically used to search, and it's used to also to be found, and it's also used as a way of tracking. And we'll get into those things in the next few questions.
Cool. Amazing. It's exactly right. It's a great way of organizing your content and making it searchable. Number one, but let's get into some more of those. Now, there's kind of three types of hashtags in my mind. You have kind of branded hashtags, which are more things to do with your company, your service, your taglines. You have kind of community hashtags, which are going to be more related to the specific service that you're trying to do, groups that you're trying to target. And then the third one really is probably kind of campaign hashtags, things that are related, exactly what you're trying to target for this piece of content. So I don't know, should we start with maybe the branded hashtag? So like when you're making something for Hot Hospitality, do you have some branded hashtags that you use?
Absolutely. So for Hot Hospitality, I guess this is, in terms of branded hashtags, I always go with HH Exchange, which is a short version of Hot Hospitality Exchange, or I do Hot Hospitality Exchange, the whole word, but I don't usually like doing really big, long hashtags. I think they're annoying, and that's why I kind of stop and I shorten it. And once you set a brand hashtag, you need to stick to it, just so that it appears enough times online to gain that momentum and to actually come up in search fields to be found. So for me, it's HH Exchange. I also do social media strategist, social media consultant, and social media strategy. So those are all kind of, and then event profs, I would say those are the five that I usually attach with myself and my brand. Depending on the content, obviously, this is one thing we are going to discuss, your hashtags can change, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So when I'm posting about vlogs that I've done, then I put the hashtag MyVlogger in there.
Okay, nice. And the great thing about like the HH Exchange and things like that is people need to keep in mind that these hashtags, I think, almost always are clickable. I know they're clickable on LinkedIn, they're clickable on Instagram, as well as Twitter. And so if I want to see everything that you've been posting, for example, if I just click on that hashtag, I'll be able to see a list of all the content that that's kind of been tagged with that, and it's a great way
Exactly.
of putting it all together. Um, for us, we use hashtag Acomo, obviously, for the company. Like one of our taglines is the most enjoyable event company. So we'll do like
Mhm.
hashtag. I keep doing this. I don't know why. Hashtag
Stop with the
enjoy
fingers.
events. Exactly. And we have a hashtag which is hashtag accommodation, but with the
Mhm,
AKOMMO
mhm.
accommodation. And these are ways of organizing it and branding it so those hashtags are used. And I totally agree. It's really important. If you do that, make it unique. Do some research beforehand to make sure that that doesn't exist. And if it does exist, you don't want to be associated with like a negative hashtag because that can happen sometimes. Like
Yeah,
you do this hashtag that's related to your brand, and then suddenly you realize that that phrase might be related to a movement that is not not very positive, or it's not positively related to what you do.
exactly.
Um,
And if you're using branded hashtags, what's important that I wanted to add, Jason,
mhm,
was this hashtag should be consistently what you use in all your posts.
yeah.
And not just your own posts. If you're collaborating with someone, if you are being tagged in a post,
Mhm,
then they should very clearly know about your branded hashtags.
yeah.
So if you're a
Mhm,
hotel and you've got your specific hashtag, like for examples, let's say hashtag the Savoy London,
yep.
right? So if the Savoy London is mentioned in any posts that isn't their own, then it's important to have their hashtag,
Yeah.
because it not only allows you to search,
Yeah.
or people to search for you, but for you to type it in and see, oh, who's mentioned us in tags and who's
Totally.
mentioned us in posts. So,
Mhm.
it kind of gives you a way to kind of bring it all together and pick up all your breadcrumbs that you leave and other people leave for you online.
Absolutely, and that's a really important aspect of hashtags too. That a lot of people don't do. They will hashtag their content,
Mhm.
but then there's no follow up, and it's really important to follow. There could be a whole conversation going on about your hashtag, and if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss that, and you're going to miss opportunities to engage and to reach out. So it's very important to you can set up alerts in certain programs where
Mhm.
when your hashtag comes up, that you're alerted and you can jump into that conversation, right? So if somebody's posted a tweet and they've used one of your hashtags, you should be all over that. That's exactly what you're trying to do. So
Absolutely.
make sure you're there to listen to it, and you follow up, and you keep track of these hashtags too.
And I
Um,
want to make a specific point that
mhm.
you all need to hashtag correctly.
Okay, all right, let's do that. Yeah,
Let's do that. Yeah.
yeah,
This
sure.
is not correctly using a hashtag. Do you see
That's
this
right.
right here? That's a
Hmm.
space. There should not be a space in between the word and the hashtag.
That's right.
No
That is
spaces,
going to
people.
hashtag.
No
That's
spaces.
hashtag space, right? That's
Exactly. So if you're hashtagging properly, then it's going to look. Now, I love using really high tech, tangible devices to be able
mm.
to share across. So this is what a proper
Nice,
hashtag looks like, right?
beautiful.
So, and I like
Yeah.
Acomo because it's a nice, easy, short little hashtag that you can just
Mhm.
put in there. Now, another example that I'm going to give is if you're going to be doing a number of hashtags, and we'll talk
Mhm.
about how many you should be using and whatnot, what's the word
Yep.
on the street on hashtags. But for example, if you're going to be using hashtags, you can please space them out. Please do not be doing this. Let's go event. And do you see what I've done here? Like this is all together.
Exactly.
Right?
Hmm.
There are no spaces, which means effectively what you're doing is garbage.
Hmm. It's
You are
garbage.
literally
You're
putting a
wasting characters.
hashtag and it's doing nothing for you because it's
Yeah.
all together. So there
Mhm,
should be no spaces after the actual hashtag, and
mhm,
there should be no spaces between two hashtags. There should be a
exactly.
space between two hashtags is what I mean.
Mhm.
So space them out, but no space inside them.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's a
what's
great point.
really important is how many of them we should be doing. So I'll put that on to Jason.
Well, thank you. You can throw the, this is very there's all kinds of opinions on this, and,
Yeah.
you will have certain people that say the algorithm will, punish you for using a certain number, or you're not leveraging enough if you use too few.
Mhm.
Um I think the main thing to do is to test, to use a lot, use a little, and see what kind of engagement you get.
Yeah.
But before doing that, probably I would say it depends on the platform. So for me,
Yeah.
LinkedIn, what I understand is that LinkedIn does not like hashtags as much as Instagram does. So on
Correct.
LinkedIn, I usually tend to keep it to maybe 3, 4, 5 hashtags maximum.
Yeah.
Instagram, on the other hand, I tend to use as many as I can. If the limit is it 30, you're the
30.
Instagram queen. So yeah.
It is
So
30.
if it's 30, I tend to use all 30, because it's just creating a larger reach, and I don't think Instagram punishes people for hashtags as much as
It's an
LinkedIn would.
interesting debate right now because,
Mm,
if you go onto YouTube and you research, how many hashtags should I be using,
right.
you're going to get uh, two sides of the story. There's going to
Hmm.
be Instagram specialists and influencers that are saying use as many as they give you because that's the reason they've given you that many.
Yep.
So if you have an opportunity to use 30 hashtags, use them. But of
Right.
course, make sure that they're all searchable, relevant, and
Hmm.
worth the use of those hashtags.
Correct.
Um, if you feel like, and then there's the other camp that are saying don't use that many hashtags, maybe go for like 15 to 20 because they can be a bit overwhelming and they take away from your post and the engagement.
Hmm.
um, so I'm a kind of in two sides with it. If I
Yeah.
usually tend to go with the full 30,
Hmm.
um, but if I'm doing an extraordinarily longer post, which you can on Instagram, right,
Yeah.
what I'll do is I'll maybe put 3 of the top hashtags within the body of the post, and then I'll put
Okay.
the remaining 17 in the first comment
Yeah.
so that it's still there.
Mhm.
And this is something that quite a lot of people practice, is that they will put, a number of the hashtags or even all the hashtags in the first comment as opposed into the body of the post.
Yeah, totally. I think if you have enough content to fill the characters in the message or in
Mhm.
the post, then absolutely use that first comment as a way of hashtagging, because it's still searchable. You're still going to show up in the searches, the keywords. So I think it's a great strategy, rolling into the first comment. Speaking of that, we actually have a question from Naomi.
Yay!
Hello, Naomi. Thanks
Hello,
for listening
Naomi.
in.
Thank you for joining us.
Let me share this on the screen here. So Naomi's asking, what do you think about using hashtags if they aren't highly popular, less than
Mhm.
500, and using hashtags with more than like 1,000, 1K plus? It's a really, really good question, and it's probably one of the things that we should absolutely, absolutely talk about.
Yeah,
For me, I think that if I guess there's a couple of things here, right? Because number
yeah,
one, you need to know how many there are. Like, how do you know that there's less than 500? So that's a great point, because there's tools that will let you search the hashtags to see how many are being used.
exactly.
I have no problem using a hashtag that's less than 500 as long as it's extremely relevant to my niche. And
Mm.
working in the event prof community, it's a very niche sector, and it's very likely that there's going to be hashtags that only have a small following. Like if I'm doing I don't know, venues in a small city in
Mhm.
Germany, right? And I do
Yeah,
hashtag small city in Germany, whatever it is. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of followers, but the people who search for that are totally going to be part of the pipeline that I want. So I think as long as the hashtag is relevant to your target market, and
yeah.
it's being searched by the people you're looking for, I don't see a problem with it.
I
What do you
agree.
think, Sabrina?
I think that it's at the end of, this is my favorite word, right? This year, it's all about purpose and
Purpose.
intent. So what is the purpose for you using these
Yep.
hashtags
Hmm.
at the end of the day? And what is your intent with it, right? What do you want
Yep.
to get out of it? So
Yep.
if you're going to use a hashtag that has less than 500 in terms of popularity, then it would be, for example, HH Exchange, which is what I use, which is my branded one, is like, it's less than 100, it's less than
Hmm.
500. It says, like, usually when you type a hashtag into the Instagram search field, you can, a little drop down menu falls down and you can actually see how many, or how many times that hashtag has come
Yep.
up or it's used and how popular it is. And usually I think it's used more than 100 plus times, which I think still is less than 500. But I'm using it because it's my branded hashtag and I want to be able to search and collate all my posts, or I have it for that specific purpose, and of course to
Yep.
have a hashtag associated with my brand. Now,
Yep.
what would be something more interesting is, for example, if I was doing a post on a specific topic, and it's say on social media strategy, right? There are hashtags like hashtag social media, which is in the millions in terms of popularity, right?
Yep.
So do I use it? Yes, I would use anywhere between 1 to 3 of these kinds of huge popular hashtags, depending on my content, the massive ones. Exactly. Not more than 3. I would say I would cap it at 3. And then I would try to use hashtags that are in the mid-range. So they're in the thousands, they're in the 100,000s, they're in the 50,000s kind of range, because those are the ones where you can start to rank on those hashtags, because you want to come up on the search feed on the top 9 or 10. This is a thing. If you're in the world of social media and you're trying to get your profile more visible, then there's certain strategy to using different popular numbered hashtags. And that's my son knocking on the door. This was bound to happen. I'm going to throw it over to
working from home.
Exactly. No,
don't worry.
Mama's in a call. Please close the door. No, so, Leo, I told you I'm working.
I think that for sure I totally agree. I totally agree. And Naomi is mentioning here that this is more on Instagram, which is true. I think, is it called the Explore page? Is that where you're trying to arrive on the Explore page for a certain hashtag?
Exactly. So when you go onto the Explore page for Instagram, you'll have like the top 9 or 12 that come up. And they're usually because of the hashtag search, whatever hashtags you've put in there. So if you want to come up on the search page with the content that you're creating for your specific niche, for example, say it's event profs, then you want to aim for that, then you could use those hashtags, but you need a bunch of other hashtags to support that strategy, right?
Totally.
And
you've got like 30 on Instagram, and you can, I think doing a mix is a really good idea. There's no problem using the really big ones or the really small ones, but I think having a mix, diversifying that, gives you the best option to reach your target, but also get a bigger following. I mean, obviously, if your goal for this post is reach, maybe lean a little bit more to the more massive ones that have a little bit more followings. But the other thing to consider is that if you're going to do hashtag I don't know, foodie, right? And there's 20 million people doing that. There's a ton of competition there. So it's very unlikely that even though you're doing that, you're going to be one of the
end
top
up on the search page
in there. So it's finding a balance. And I think with LinkedIn, it's a slightly different animal, isn't it? Because if you're limiting ourselves to 3 to 5, I think we agree on that number. You have to be have a lot more intention with the hashtags.
Exactly. Intention and purpose. And this is what I guess one of the things that I wanted to stress on, with hashtags is, they should be catered with every single post. Every post shouldn't have the same hashtags. On Instagram, for example, you can have your branded hashtag. You can have, say, hashtag event profs, because that's your community or your niche. You can even drill it down further. If you are a UK event prof or you're targeting UK event profs, you would have event profs UK, for example. So those are kind of the fundamental or foundational ones that you should have. And then the rest should be a mix, as I say, of, what you want, how you want that post to be showing up and under what topic. So one of the posts I did last week on Instagram was on time management. And so obviously the time management hashtag was important to put on there, because if anyone was going to be looking for time management, hopefully they would come across my post, or even I myself could kind of see what kind of posts come out under time management. And then for LinkedIn, it's completely different. So if we were doing, for example, a post on, I just did a post on that I was on a podcast. And so underneath that, it would be podcast, would be the actual hashtag, and then it would be hashtag event profs. And the podcast was actually on destination marketing. So I put hashtag destination marketing. And so if you look for those, then that is what comes up in the search field for LinkedIn. And those are the posts that would come up. And I almost want to say that the LinkedIn hashtag search is a lot more strategic and a lot more targeted on actual proper topics.
For sure. For sure, yeah. I think it's because of the limitation. Like, you've got like, and as far as I know, and again, this is debatable, but as far as I know, if you're limiting yourself to 5 hashtags, you have to be
Mm,
super strategic with which ones you choose. Because, and I think going niche is better for LinkedIn. Like, I wouldn't do hashtag business, for example, because like you're not really reaching anybody. You're you want to look for your niche. Who is this piece of content
yeah,
targeting, and
yeah,
how can I get to them? And I think another thing, as we're running out of time again, we'll have to move this into Clubhouse. I think it'll be good.
yeah,
Um, but another thing I'd recommend people do is actually follow hashtags. So if you click on a hashtag in LinkedIn,
yes,
you're going to get a screen pop up that shows all of the content related to that, and then you can actually follow that hashtag. So obviously everybody on here should be following hashtag event profs, and then
exactly.
anytime you want some event prof information, you can click on it, and also you should start to get some content into your feed based
Yeah.
on that category of event profs.
And that's a great
Um,
way also of doing research in terms of what content you want to be
Totally.
creating and that you want to be the go-to on and that you want to
Hmm.
be searched for. So
Yep.
if you put in the hashtag virtual events, then you'll see and have an idea of what are the companies and what are the people on your in your community or that you are not connected to yet,
Yep.
that are making posts on virtual events, and it'll give you an idea of the kinds of posts that you could make under that hashtag and tag it to, so that you come up within that search in
Mhm.
that type of post and
Yep.
content.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, for sure. So we've got about 20 seconds here. I think before we go, I want to shout out to everybody because I think what we're doing right now, it needs a hashtag, right? So
Yeah,
let's see if we can come up with a hashtag for 20-minute event profs marketing live. It's way too long right
yeah,
now, so we got to
yeah.
get like a short one. But we'll
Your
we'll
mission,
brainstorm
should you choose to accept it, is to come up with a hashtag for this
for
show.
this.
So
So
that would be good.
that is great. We're out of time. We hit our 20 minutes. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we flip this over to Clubhouse?
No, I mean, Naomi's actually, thank you, Naomi. We have seen your
Thank you so much,
questions in
Naomi.
the comments. If you want to join us in the Clubhouse room, I would be happy to try and help answer your question on about hashtags on TikTok.
Yep.
And if you always use event props as a hashtag, that is not a bad thing. That is just one of your brand and niche hashtags. So don't feel like that's a yikes. It's not. It is something that you want to associate yourself with. It is the community that you're part of, and that should be by law in all
Yes,
your posts,
absolutely.
especially on Instagram. So
Exactly.
everyone, thank you for joining us. If you are watching the replay, drop your questions and comments in the comment section, and me and Jason will respond. If you want to contact the both of us, we are obviously on LinkedIn. Reach out, connect with us here. Follow us on our social media platforms. We are now heading over into Clubhouse, and we're going to open up our room for the next 20 minutes on the exact same topic.
Let's do it.
And you can come on stage and ask your questions and share your kind of insights and frustrations and struggles or successes with hashtags.
Amazing. Excellent. Cool. Well,
All
let's
right.
do it. I'll see you in Clubhouse.
See you in
Hashtag
Clubhouse.
right now.
Hashtag right now. Bye, everyone.
Bye.